Chodesh. So I decided, let's learn Hilchos Chodesh. Finding Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. If you look it up, it's Siman Tzadik Zayin. It's right after Hilchos Shabbos, Hilchos Chodesh v'Kiddush Lebana. The boy has Vav Sif. You can take this.
Tzadik Zayin.
Tzadik Zayin. These dinim are not in our Rebbe Shulchan Aruch. They don't have that those dinim, but it's in the big Shulchan Aruch and also in the Mishnah Brura. So we'll put it in a little bit. Okay, he says there as follows: Hilchos Chodesh v'Kiddush Lebana u'boi tezvav sifa. Yesh noigen lesanes be'erev Chodesh. Some have a minute that they fast on erev Chodesh. V'ayim seder Yom Kippur Cotton. There's a special slichas that they say on erev Chodesh. It's called Yom Kippur Cotton. Lefi shaboy miskaprim kol ha'avonos kol ha'chodesh. Because over there on the Chodesh, the kabbanas that they used to bring in the Beis HaMikdash was also to be mechaper on different things. Dumya the soyer is Chodesh. U'kamoi she'onu omer v'musaf zuman kapara l'chol toidaisam. So zuman kapara l'chol toidaisam is any kapara.
So it's Reish Chodesh or Erev Chodesh, which is the Yom Kippur Cotton?
No, it's Yom Kippur, Erev Chodesh, Yom Kippur Cotton, not Rosh Chodesh. That's why they say that from Erev Yom Kippur Cotton. B'chol mokum u'fi min hoget. In Lubavitch is not popular to fast out of Rosh Chodesh, but B'shas the Rebbe wasn't well, so Damos they used to fast out of Rosh Chodesh, and they used to say extra Tillim on out of Rosh Chodesh. And in Borough Park there's a shul called Shomer Shabbos, where upstairs in the Vayvish shul there's a minyan in the afternoon on, like now, there's a minyan there special of people that are fasting. And they say the Yom Kippur Cotton. Mitzvah l'habais b'suda b'Rosh Chodesh. There's a mitzvah to be mabe in Suda and Rosh Chodesh. B'im chal b'Shabbos yasa tafshel echad yoyse mi b'shash Shabbos. Now the interesting thing is, I brought up here a Mishnah Brura because in the Mishnah Brura there's these dinim. So on this din of mitzvah habas be Rosh Chodesh, so I want to read over a little bit what the Mishnah Brura writes. He says as a ba'af agav de meike chiyuva einem mechuyev lechol devarim hataunim b'chas hamazon. There's no chiyuv dafka to wash and to have bread or challah. V'yochel lotzes b'shad dvarim, and you could be yotze by eating anything additional that you added for the Suda. Mikol mokum, hamoitzi al Suda Chodesh, someone that spends money for a Suda Chodesh, ba'oichel b'shaisa by b'tayv, and he enjoys a good meal, hareza mishubach, because of a paiskim, and the paiskim write, b'shem medish psikta, kol muzaynaysa she'odam Kisuvim loim be'Rosh Hashanah ad Rosh Hashanah. That's a Gemara. That's from Rosh the Gemara. I mean, I think there's a Gis Rosh Hashanah to Yom Kippur. Dachsa. Chutz mimasha moisi b'Shabbosos v'Yom Tovim v'Rosh Chodesh v'Chol HaMoed. The Gemara said, I think chutz min Shabbos v'Yom Tov, but the Medrash is adding also Chol HaMoed and Rosh Chodesh. Now here's the interesting thing that I wanted to read from the Mishnah Brura. He says it as follows: V'im peiches, if he's like stingy, he wants to spend very little, is peiches, so he gets less. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. I skipped a line. Now he says there's a umasha tinoikis moilichem lebeis rabbim. There's money that the children used to bring on Rosh Chodesh to the Muhammad. So he says, Im Moisef, Mosifen, v'im Peiches, Peichsulei. Okay, what is this money? What money are we talking about? Because of Rabbi Yosef, the Masha Oma, Masha Atinekes Maglichem, what does that mean? That the children bring, what is, so the Beishaita says, Koi Aschal Limud. The Melamed used to have the children they had to bring the money that the Melamed made for that month, for every month. On Rosh Chodesh, they used to bring the money to Melamed. But listen to this now. V'habach Pirish, this the Beishaita said. V'habach Pirish, the Bach says, the Koi al Rosh Chodesh, that it goes on Rosh Chodesh, not Schal Limud, but it has to do with Rosh Chodesh. And he says a Zayd. So what does it mean, the Koi al Rosh Chodesh? So the Mishnah Berurah said, V'akavona, Amar she'onu noigim. Onu noigim, the Mishnah Berurah was in 1930s, he passed away in 1933. L'shloyach aidei atinoikes, moish shalosh chodesh l'rabam, be'eng levatel haminig. They used to have a minig that Rosh Chodesh they would send every student would bring something for the Rebbe, the Muhammad on Rosh Chodesh geld. So let me tell you a little story. When I got married, so I think when my wife came from Eretz Yisrael, so she was a teacher in Beisrivka. She was a teacher in Beisrivka. Oh no, she came. Yeah. She finished Beis Yaakov in Tel Aviv. There was a Sharansky's Beis Yaakov, it was called, a famous Beis Yaakov. Her chavetes in the school were the Vizhnitzer Rebbe's daughters. The Vizhnitzer Rebbe had 3 daughters. One daughter married the Satama, one daughter married the Belzer, and one daughter married the Skvera. So that's what they didn't have their own schools that time. So they sent their daughters in fact, the teacher who taught these girls in Beis Yaakov over there was Rabbi Yael Khan had a sister, Gansberg. Yeah, she was their teacher in Vahi Hayom. This is Derech Agav, I'm just telling you so. Vahi Hayom, there was the Rebbe spoke about a Gevissa Inyan, and there was a group of women that decided that they're going to go to the square at Rebbetzin and talk to her about it. So she's not well now. She's sick now, but that time she was well, and I don't know if Mrs. Gansberg went along with them. It could be she also went along, but she told my wife, and my wife asked her, "How am I supposed to call you? We were classmates." So she said, "The same as you spoke to me when we were in Beis Yaakov." And she told him that she reads Kfar Chabad, and okay. But so when my wife after that, my wife taught the famous Mara Guru was over here. That was the head of the seminary. She was a student by my wife. My wife taught the 8th grade over here. So all these women from that guild were students. But then later, there was a school on the east side called Esther Schoenfeld High School. It was run by a Rabbi Garber. Rabbi Garber was a smart businessman, and wherever he heard that there was a good teacher, so he would meet with them and pay them money that they should come to teach for him in Esther Schoenfeld. So after teaching in Beisrivka for a year, she went over to Esther Schoenfeld. She had a friend that taught in Satama. Now Satama, today they have a lot of big buildings, but in those years, we're going back to early 1960s, they would find a public school that was empty, and they would take it over. So they had a public school in Better-Stuyvesant. I forgot the name of the street. I think it was Patchen Avenue in Better-Stuyvesant. and my wife's friend was teaching in that school. Something happened that she was ill or what, or giving birth, I don't remember, that she asked my wife, that being that my wife teaches in Esther Schoenfeld on the east side, so she has to drive through Bedford-Stuyvesant to get to Crown Heights. Maybe she could take over her classes, her afternoon classes, when she finishes over there, take over her afternoon classes. So she agreed to it. And she used to drive from the east side. When she finished teaching the east side, she would drive through Bedford-Stuyvesant and stop by the school over there and taught the class. So Derech Agav, the principal there was a very nice person. His name was Rabbi Berkowitz. He lived here in Crown Heights. He was friendly with Lubavitcher. So he asked my wife a few favors. One favor he asked her, that she shouldn't park the car in front of the school, because he doesn't want the girls to see a woman driving a car. That was one thing. The second thing was that being that she was an Israeli, so she spoke Yiddish also, but her Yiddish was mixed with Hebrew, so he asked her to please be careful not to speak Hebrew also, because that's Tzioni, that's it. And so she taught in the class with her. And then one day, they bring in a list for the teachers, that they should collect money for the teachers. She didn't know what it's all about. So the girls explained to her that this is geld for the teacher. So she goes through the list of the students, and Lamosh, let's say, she came to her name Berkowitz, let's say. So they said to her, oh, no, skip that name. Sie braucht nicht zu geben. She doesn't have to give. Why? Because her father's a Rav. If the father was a Rav, then you were potter to give money. But they have this minhag, I don't know about, I can't say till today, I'm not familiar, but they had this minhag in America, that they had the Rebbe geld, that they had on a Chodesh, that they brought for the Melamdim, and also for the women teachers. So this is what he says over here, what he's talking about, and it seems like in the way the Mishnah Berurah writes, it seems like when in his days they also had it. Okay. Good. Let's go weiter. Now, in Gimel, he says, Resh Chodesh muter b'asiyas melachim. V'noshim noyages sheloi lasses by melachim, u'minhag hagen hu ve'engel hakel lehem. In the Forschung state, Medrash state, that the women, because when they asked Aaron to make an egel, so it state that the men came to the women. He said, "Give me your jewelry. I'll melt the jewelry and we'll make an egel." So the men came to the women, and they wanted that they should give their jewelry for this cause, and the woman refused to give it. The men gave it. They took off. The men used to wear jewelry those days, so the men gave it, and the woman didn't give it. So b'schazeh, that's the most popular. There's maybe other reasons also, but it's b'schazeh that the woman weren't mishtatif in the egel. So b'schazeh they got a yontif, and the yontif that they got was Rosh Chodesh. The question is, what is wipes Rosh Chodesh? So the answer is because Rosh Chodesh has a shaykhus to the women. Just like the Levana has cycles in it, the same thing also, a woman has cycles. And there's a mushroom in the Indian from Vestas, there's a Vestas Chodesh. I mean, it's all verbunden with Chodesh. So therefore, the yontif is that they don't do work. Now, in don't doing work, there are different minhagim. Over here, he talks about women don't do work. In Shulchan Aruch, he talks about men not doing work. So he said the men that don't do work on Rosh Chodesh, he said that's not a minhag. That's wrong. There's no, because it doesn't belong to them. Because he doesn't explain it this way. But if the reason is because of the woman not giving the jewelry, what's the shaycha got to the men? But in the Welt, there's a lot of women that don't do work on Rosh Chodesh. Mainly, the work that they don't do is women's work, like sewing and laundry, this type of work they don't do. And in the Shulchan Aruch over here, the Mishnah Berurah talks about it, that even though that there's work that the wife does for the husband, but the husband can't mon by the woman to do work on Rosh Chodesh. Not only can he mon by the woman, if he has a meshosus, a maid in the house, a Yiddish maid, she's also entitled to have freedom from Rosh Chodesh. And he says over here that there are shaylas in Rosh Chodesh. Is it like this month Tammuz, 2 days Rosh Chodesh? Does it apply to 2 days or does it apply to only 1 day? So he says that some are makel the first day, but the second day is zicha, the ikar, because the first day has a shayla yet to the previous month, and the ikar Rosh Chodesh is the second day. So that's the ikar when they don't do work. Now he says, Vater, guys are weiter in Dalit. He says, Halal tzarech l'emrei ba'amida. Halal has to be said while standing. V'lo yafsik bay. You shouldn't be mafsik in the middle of saying halal. V'yishtadal l'emrei im atziba. You should be mishtadal. I'll soon explain this why. Should be mishtadal, make an effort to say halal in tziba. And therefore, im bo lebeis hakneses somach halal, yema halal im atziba, v'chakach ispal. V'yimu oime b'sukkah de zimra. If he's in the middle of psukkah de zimra by us means from Baruch She'amah, where you can't be mafsik. Over here it says hainu min haidu, because they say haidu and then after. Yikra halal im atziba, v'lo yevorech lo b'tchila v'lo b'seif. And you shouldn't make a bracha in halal. Now the Zachas say, in the Gemara, there's times when halal is a chiyuv, and there's times when halal is a minig. Well, Mashal Chanukah state that the Chanukah cover halal haydes. So it's a chiyuv. Well, Mashal even an oval, that someone that's sitting shiva also has to say halal. The only thing is that he doesn't say halal for the amid. Someone else walks over to the amid, and the oval moves aside, but there's a chiyuv to say halal. On the Chodesh, the oval doesn't say halal. There's even a shayla, according to the Rabbi Bogomilsky, that in the base of oval you don't say halal. In other words, if there's a minyan by an oval, so either what people do is they go outside, like on the porch or on the street, they say halal, because in the base of oval you don't say halal. This meaning that the oval goes in another room, that it's not according to Alter Rebbe Bogomilsky. Others are makel that way, that the oval goes out, but Alter Rebbe holds that in a base oval you don't say halal. Now Vet Ashayra, the halal of Rosh Chodesh is a minig. So then Vet Ashayra, if on a minig you make a bracha on that. So the truth is that in Lubavitch the minig always was that, so someone make a b'tzibur, that if it's a tzibur, then you make a bracha. That's why he's saying over here you should say b'tzibur. The minig used to be in Lubavitch that the chazan would make a bracha and be mitzvah the oilam, and the oilam would just answer amen, not baruch hu baruch shmai. Later the Rebbe changed it. The Rebbe made it takana, like, why shouldn't you chaper noch a bracha, something like that he said. But so therefore he's saying now over here, if you look again, halal tzarech l'em b'amida v'lo yafsik v'yishtadol l'emrei im atziba. Ulochen therefore in bol the basic nesses samach halal yema halal in matziba. Harakach ispal. L'chayre, this doesn't apply to us because now that our minig is that we make a bracha. So this is the problem because of the bracha partially, but our minig now that we say halal with a bracha even when you daven b'yichidus, so l'chayre this doesn't apply. As I explained you, because that's on a minig is a shal if you make a bracha. Ki birchas baruch she'oma u'birchas ishtabach olu lo yigam lahalo. Okay, v'davke b'resh chodesh yochel lasos kain she'omrim halal rak b'dilug. We don't say the whole halal, so it's surely only a minute. V'chein b'chal moed v'yom achorim shel Pesach. We also don't say the whole halal. Avol k'she'omrim halal shalom eini yochel lasos kain. Umisha Oma Halal Shalevet Siba Im Yesh Naim Achedem Yem Lefneim Hoidu Hashem Kedei Sheyanu Heim the Kivin She'ema Hoidu Mashma She'ema Hoidu means let us pray. Okay, so and then he said Dinah Midas Halal B'Veis Oval, so it's in Hilchos Oval over there. But it is again, our minig is that now, since the Rebbe made the takana, that even a yochid that says halal and he says only half halal, still he says halal with a bracha b'mela, so he doesn't have to be mafsik between baruch she'omer or what or any place.
Isn't it this says nishtar Indian as we come to and you're holding halal and you're before davening to say halal in Indian?
I think that was because of the bracha. That's where it came. I don't think of today it's I'm not sure. The acha halal, after the halal, Armim Kadesh Shalom, Umetziyah Sefer Torah, V'Kayden Dalid, and you call up 4 people. Hakay and Kayda Gimel Psukim, Shehem vayedaber tzav b'amata, v'halei v'chayzer v'kayder b'amata. He goes back to because there's a shortage of psukim that you need 3 psukim for each person. V'kayder es hakeves echad asira seifa, v'yisrael kayder oylas tamid ad u'brashe chadshechem, u'revi kayder b'rashe chadshechem. Okay, we'll stop over here.